So, video number 3, TNIL policy number 3. It's about Southland, right? It's about the TY Point aluminium smelter, repurposed as a maglev accelerator to launch vehicles into space. It's got this thing called a hydroelectric dam hooked up to it, so it's got a berserk amount of like electric output going on there. It's 13% of New Zealand's electrical generation. 13%. So it'll work on this other. It'll work in. It'll power an electromagnetic launch system for space vehicles. And this is an amazing idea because literally it would financially support itself, right? Because if you were to turn that smelter, because they smelt the aluminium and they pour it into moulds and then it just sits there and then goes off somewhere else, right? So instead of pouring it into those ingot moulds, well, we could pour it into a mould that is like been CNC machined from a 3D copy of a LaFerrari or a Spitfire airplane. Isn't that? Building a mould for a Spitfire aircraft and then making a one-piece airframe for the Spitfire. It's all aluminium. That'd be frigging great. So we could, yeah. So probably maybe reduce capacity, but there could be a lot of things made from this equipment, right? And so I think, yeah, you've got the launch system launching stuff into space. Now I'm not sure about the G-force that would happen if you tried that. And there's been a few ideas of how to mitigate that actually. It needs further analysis. And to what extent? So, because if there's something more weighty on it to launch it, it would act slower. So we're talking about, I don't think a small thing, because that would just get zapped off me. Like something quite sizable actually. It could be, because remember you've got fucking megawatts of electricity, and so really it's also got these capacitors. So I imagine whatever they got, they zap the aluminium and melt it with electricity, right? And which is a giant spark, I think. If it's the same as steel, melting steel, yeah, it's giant electrodes, and it just shorts it out until it gets so hot it melts. So yeah, you can make a lot of stuff. And I think one thing I could make out of that, from that equipment, is you could even have you couldn't have one piece because you can't fit it on a truck, right? But you could make a whole house. You could make a mould that you could actually make a whole house from aluminium. And well, the frame anyway, right? And that's fucking, I like that idea, because I know what wooden frames are like. If it was aluminium, it would withstand, like, because wooden houses flex a little bit, so they're fairly safe in earthquake situations. But if it was all made of aluminium, it wouldn't budge if an earthquake hit it. It wouldn't even react to it, actually, I don't think, because it's kind of all cross. It's the configuration of it and its size. It actually it's reinforcing itself. It's very structurally strong because of its shape, basically, is what I'm saying. And so you could knock up these things, man, as fast as you could release the mould, the item from the mould, you could reuse the mould, right? And there'll be a bit of there may be a release agent needed, which is a surface preparation so that the material going in the mould doesn't stick to the mould actually. They call it a release agent to help it release. And But in the case of a metal, um, that's easier to release, I think, than a fiberglass mold, because when you try and release it, the article and the mold both flex together, and so a steel one, if you applied a vibration to it, it would just ping out probably. Um, yeah, and static electricity happens at that point, right? And that has a little bit to do with how it comes out, I think, because it just all exists between the two things being separated. It's quite a unique thing. So yeah, there's lots of stuff that can be made in airframes, right? Airframes for the launcher. You can make some wicked custom-built airframes for the launcher. I think, honestly, I had this idea. I think get a 2017 7 Series BMW, because the interior of those things are that nice and high quality. That's what I would have in my spaceship. And no shit, to replicate how nice that is, man, you can buy a second-hand one of those for about 15 grand or something, and it would cost you more than that to build that. Holy moly, man, it would cost you more than that to build that. And so yeah, another thing about the car thing is it's a solid physical thing. It's got a lot of inherent strength, and there's 4 really ace mounting points on it called the hubs, where the wheel bolts on. So you could use that to attach the aeronautical upgrade of it, and you can have it so. I mean, there's this idea I have for how to do that, to repurpose existing things as vehicles to launch off this thing. So aircraft, you could have an airliner aircraft, because they're all made of aluminium, right? And so you could make a mould to suit that airframe shape, right, and diameter, and that mould can be anything you freaking like, because it's like made by, you're just drawing it up by 3D models, and they're real. You know how you get, the assistant on Microsoft and whatever, So these 3D modelling programs, they are wildly helpful at drawing pictures, 3D models and stuff. I mean, you can make an animation of it actually. If you made a mechanical thing, you could actually program it, and you could ask it, make it go through its operations, and as an animation, it would go through the operations as per how you designed it. And so you can have some unreal looking fuselages for this thing, design wise. Holy moly, man. I'm thinking, like, how vines grow over stuff. You've got just different. There's different styles of going about it, and I think the natural thing, the ergonomic thing, it looks an amazing idea. Yeah. I mean, basically, because you've got way less weight in it, if you just got some people and a few things, you just got your car version of it, right? So the shape of the whole proposition of the airframe to do what it needs to do, right? And so on that new addition to the existing structure to make it what it is, it's got engines and things. There's an engine system for in space, right? But there would still be needed maybe a bit. There might have to be rockets attached to it, depending on how it goes, because we've got the two things there. We've got the distance it is to space, and we've got how much G-force can a human take. And so I'm not sure I'm going to look into that. What speed, what acceleration factor is present at 2Gs? You know, that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, no. Apart from that, and there's a design to that, the launch system, how it looks and whatever. Because you generally want it pointing up in the air, right? So that will be a really significant construction, and I think something really long, because there's these really long sheds at TY, and I think have it the whole length of that shed, but have it in the middle, have it pivoting. So you know, it pivots like this, and in the ground, where that pivot ends in the ground, right, you might be at about 80 degrees, right, something like that, right. And so yeah, you'd go down there and you'd launch it from there. So you'd be lowered down onto it and whatnot. And because you can't really have a corner, it's too severe. It's way too severe. And yeah, so I think that's the best proposition for that. Now that's a significant work. There's not much weight on it, right? There's not much weight on it. There's a vehicle on it going up it. There's all the gear, all the maglev stuff on it, and so there's not actually that much weight going on it for the kind of structure that you could create for that. That might be done in aluminium. I don't know. And so yeah. And then the jobs, it would save all the jobs. It would save every job in the place because there's that much going on there. So you're still running the smelter side of it because you're wanting to, you know, recycle aluminium or, you know, you're still doing the ore thing, right? You're getting the ore in and making aluminium. See, so all the partners presently involved in the place, they still might play a role in the place by continuing to do what they want to do. See, Rio Tinto, that's the aluminium producer. Sumitomo, they would be dead keen on a big project with electromagnetic, like superconductors, right? So I think they make those. I'm not sure about that, but they might be keen. And so all the ancillary jobs and all that are all still there. All the support for the workers, that's still there. That, you know, and so yeah, all the services, and so life goes on pretty normal as per what they were used to while it was a smelter. You know, there's that matter of all this. You know, I can't say it can be that much when it's only a shed. I might be wrong about that. Yeah. Anyway, there's that. I know there's that, and there's debt as well, probably to it as well. And but yeah, the feeling of it. You know, the kids around everywhere, the whole place, the whole of New Zealand would buzz out like hell on it, and it's like. It's something amazing. We all can go, yeah, that's great. Thanks for it. So we unify the country, and we're really New Zealand is the leading country in the world now, right? It's the leading country in the world. Fucking some tourist magazine thing. It just voted New Zealand the best place in the world. And because we got this big border of 2,000 kilometres of ocean that stopped it for us. And by virtue of that, we didn't get smashed by it actually. I mean, like, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of people a day at the New York airports, for example. Los Angeles, fuck man, probably fucking 400,000 or whatever it is. Just so many, man. And so we have hardly any of that actually. So for a lot of reasons, I think I'm quite glad that it shut the world down, because our normal clouds have, you know, I don't know about you, but I think the clouds have returned to normal, because they've been very fluffy and puffy since this has happened. Whereas beforehand, they were, it looked weird, man. It's like, and so yeah, it was just those grounding those planes, mate. That's changed everything. I wonder what summer's going to be like, because there's been a total change in the atmosphere because the planes have all been grounded. And so yeah, on that, there's just thousands of planes. I've seen this. Someone reckoned that there'd be 5,000 60 to 150 seat aircraft decommissioned by 2035. 5,000 of them. 5,000 of them. Because that's about the size, I'm imagining. It's about that size, right? And there'll be sports car versions and there'll be truck versions, right? Pretty much. There'll be runabouts and there'll be family cars and there'll be fucking tractors. And so yeah, get that happening, man. And you know what? I think we should build a space rubbish truck, because there's all that debris around Earth. There's so much of it. We could have the configuration right to catch the stuff if we had 2 big drone cricket bats stopping it, stopping the stuff, like slowing it down and then passing it to the support ship, right? And so there could be so much stuff of high value floating around up there. Holy shit, man. So a lot of people would pay a whole lot to get their stuff back, I think. A whole lot of people. Just for the art value of the engineering involved in space technology. This is really, it's kind of an art form, really, as you look at it. It's like not something you see down the supermarket shelf, So that's an interesting proposition on that score. But yeah, just cleaning it up a bit would be handy. It's like, should send America and Russia a bill for all the junk we pick up. No, I tell you, it's all a fellowship to us, to me, to the TNIL. Actually, it's a fellowship, and politics don't exist in a fellowship. It doesn't exist, man. There's only the Earth, and we should be bloody grateful that we're here on the bloody Earth. Compared to Mars, it's quite pleasant here, Got this fluid all around us called air. And we breathe air. Our muscles use air for food, right? So God, this is such a spectacular, stupendous fucking thing, man. The Earth are here, flying in space. What the hell? So yeah, I'm a druid, so that's how I fucking roll. So yeah, that's for that. It's such a great idea for the hearts of people, because it's big boys toys stuff, right? And so to elevate mankind to where he should be, how he feels, how he should feel, we need to do something to put that right. We need to put that right, and that's what my plan is. And that's part of it. It's like our boat for up north. That's got so many green lights on it to me, about the community, about, the thing can make, these generators, if it ever craps out, you could just put these generators on trucks, mount them on a truck, right? Or mount them on a fucking ship, okay? And if there's some terrible thing like Napier got hit, you could easily create a natural disaster support vessel. And in fact, this facility could manufacture them actually. So, and there's like 150 million a pop, and it's only repurposing the gear out of these other ships. And there'll be a lot of creative stuff. There'll be a lot of stuff. We'll create systems ourselves and stuff like that. And because a lot of engineering is actually common sense It's actually common sense if you can understand balance, right? See, the political system has an issue with that because it thinks that the political system is the only culture, and so have you heard the dudes, man? Nah, they're all full of it, man, the whole lot of them. Not one time did I hear leading up to the election we just had was there any tip of the hat to the idea to make our economy better, we need to start doing new high value industries. And this invariably involves mechanical engineering sciences, which New Zealand's proven itself. We've got a lot of history of amazing achievements, man. I mean, of invention of mechanical things, like Richard Pearce did that one, then John Britton did that one, and even Fred Hollows, he did that one. And so yeah, old Hillary climbing up Mount Everest, that was the thing. And there's one, and I think there's no reason we can't do more. Just dream it up, man, and fucking. So yeah, why can't Auckland have a monorail? Because I know how it takes to. I know what it takes to drill a pile out, to drill a hole for a pile. I know fucking plenty about that game. Build a monorail and just make it a monorail of classic cars, right? It'd be so fucking simple to make the cars lock while the thing is moving. If it's not at a station, the doors are locked. It'd be easy peasy to do that, and they've got the 4 mounting points on each corner, very strong mechanical mounting points for the wheels, right? And they could put it on there. Yeah, I reckon, a monorail of classic cars that does loops around the place, whatever it does. Why not? What's that place? I've lived there a while, I can't remember. Okay, so you got Ponsonby, Remuera, and then out the other side, on the left side of the Harbour Bridge side, what the hell is that place? Well, out there, you could run a monorail through these places, right? You could run a monorail through these places, and I reckon it will be bloody cool, because the people there in those areas, that's a bit, that's a wealthier type situation going on there, and it could be still a middle class thing, but you could run this transport system through that, and so anyway, I'm just floating it out there, And that's the kind of thing. It would cheer people up. It would be cool as. It would cheer people up. I mean, we could have one with all sorts of like Star Wars spaceship model replicas as the fucking cars. Why not? You could do that if you want. It's like those samba parades in Brazil, but with a monorail, and you could swap. You could swap them out, and you'd have different sets of them. And so I'm thinking what would be cool. I'm channeling the inner child, and so yeah. So however, that's not the focus, right? So yeah, Southland Spaceport, man. Just that it's something that lifts the hearts of people, in a way that's about something that we actually like a lot, which is being able to swim out in space, because that's what it's like. It's about as different as going underwater different space is from the Earth. I think that's the magnitude of difference. So yeah, anyway. So I think they're good ideas, TNIL party ideas. Yep. And so yeah. I think we should actually bring back sailing ships as well. We could make massive sailing ships. See, that's another thing this big vessel could do. There could be a line in repurposing ships to sail ships, and but really massive ones. So it might take a month. It might take a month to go from Sydney to. Well, it wouldn't take a month probably. Say it took a month to go from Sydney straight over to Los Angeles, right? I reckon that might be only 10 days. I mean, depending. I mean, because displacement as a vessel that's been repurposed to carry passengers and whatnot, it'd be much less displacement in the water, so it'd be able to go faster. Anyway, so yeah, it's just, I think, because actually motorcycling has this saying, right? The journey is the destination. Okay, the journey is the destination, and that's what life really is, right? And so that's how I'm feeling about these initiatives. In keeping with that, we are living our lives, and we need to be doing something that covers these different bases, man. And so you talk about the money, you put a money price on it, that's completely ignoring all these dynamices. And then people, they have no idea about how to achieve anything, or they can't possibly carry in their minds a plan with 100 different steps, and then each one is about 15 different aspects, right? They don't do that because they're too interested in politics and whatever they do. And so anyway, there's one. That's the maglev, man. The maglev accelerator. Could call it the Southland accelerator. Burt Munro. I didn't mention Birdie Boy. He's another significant Kiwi. And he made friends wherever he went, man. Because he was an honourable guy. He was honourable. And his motorcycle actually was a work of art in his mind. And according to his love of how much he wanted to mess with it, he's a sculptor. He's a sculptor, man. Anyway. Stand by for the next one.